Good morning, guys. It's Laurie of Laurie's Heirloom Sewing. Today is Friday. It is December the 11th of 2020. And as you can see, I managed to get some friends framed. So Bianca and Fritzy from the Vera Mouse Club, I guess. This is Bianca, and this is Fritzy, and this is Ladybug, and I don't think the birds have names. They're just chickadees. But Fritzy looks like he's gardening, and Bianca is watching from the garden gate. Anyway, I had this card, and I've had it for, I believe, since 1995. And saved it, never did use it, and I wanted to get it framed. So that is what I did, finally. My husband purchased this frame for me. I am just going to keep them in here in the sewing room with me for the time being. I am almost finished with Kitten Chores for Saturday, and this will go in the box that needs to be sent to. Everybody likes a nice new kitchen towel, and I hope whoever does receive one of these from me will please use them. I didn't, when I would get them for a long time, I would kind of like try to keep them, pristine, pretty. The thing is, they just look so nice when you are using them. After a while, the embroidery floss fades a little bit, and it adds to that, I don't know, it's like it just adds to the vintage flair, if you're looking for that. So I recommend that you just go ahead and use them. And they do, for some reason, there is this feeling I cannot describe. It's like when you get a quilt and you put it, like an actual handmade quilt, and you put it on your bed. There's just this wonderful feeling. Well, that's what using these little dish towels is like. There's just this feeling that you cannot get from going to the store and purchasing dish towels. I don't know what it is. Okay, I have one letter to go, and it will be done. Okay, so totally cute. I can't wait to do the rest. I have several, and they're all from different packets. So I have one horse, one little lovebirds. I've got some sheep that I've been working on for a few days. They're up there. So yeah. Okay, so let's do a quick little test on the floss to see the color fastness. So for me to do that, I will need to cut this. So if you're like me, it would be really weird to wash a kitchen towel in cold water. So I am going to just cut this floss in half. And I'm going to do one in hot water without bleach. And I'm going to do the other one in hot water with bleach. So we'll see how this responds. I'll be right back. Alright, so I have 2 bowls and some Clorox bleach, non-sponsored, not affiliated. And I'm just going to put a little bit of bleach. This is called splashless bleach, so it just looks a little thicker to me than the average. I don't know if you can see that, but there's bleach in there. Alright, and then this is the hot water that comes from a special little hot water tap on my sink for making tea and coffee. If you don't want to use the microwave. Okay. That has no, excuse me, that has no soap in it, but I figured even just plain hot water would work. Okay, and this one has formed some bubbles from the bleach. And this is totally non-scientific because I'm not measuring quantities. I'm just doing laundry, kind of. And it does smell bleachy. I'm not seeing any, here, let me move you so that you can see what I'm looking at. This is the bleachy one. It doesn't appear to have changed color at all. Just letting it sit there. Now I'm going to turn my chopstick over so it doesn't get bleach. This is the bleachy end, and this is the I haven't touched water yet end, so that goes in there. No bleach. And it's super hot water. I'm flipping it back over to put it in. So the end that's flat is the bleachy end, and the pointy end is the non-bleachy end. Okay. I think if it were going to change color, by now it would have. There would be some sign of loss of color. And I'm not seeing that. Flipped my chopstick back over. So just in the hot water, I'm not seeing any loss of color. Flip my chopstick back over. Bleach, yeah, I don't think that the floss is going to fade or lose color if you use bleach. I just don't see that happening. I'm going to put the one that was in bleach into just the plain hot water so that they're both together. So this one is just plain, or was just plain. There's a little trace of bleach in the water now. And this is the one that was in mostly bleach water. And I'm not seeing any color changes for either one. Okay, so here's the thing. This actually has now been sitting in this for quite some time, and I am not seeing any color change at all. Let me back it up a little bit. So between the two, if I lift them out, they both look exactly the same, while one of these was in bleach for quite some time. So it's color fast, in my opinion. We were going to discuss amount of bleach. So the directions on the Clorox bottle say to sort your laundry by color, add detergent, fill bleach to the max line in the dispenser, or add a half a cup to the wash water. Add clothes, start wash, and for best results, add to wash 5 minutes after the wash cycle has begun. You're supposed to add a half a cup of bleach to 1 gallon of, do they say hot water? They don't say whether the water is supposed to be hot or not, but my point is, I think my mixture was decent enough to represent whether or not this floss is color fast. I'm not going to guarantee it because I will not be able to absolutely watch while you do your laundry, but I'm just going to say that based on what I've done here, I'm not seeing any color change. Hot water plus bleach, and no change. So I feel like we could add a little bit of bleach to the kitchen towels and they will be fine. Okay, I'm going to get this cleaned up and we're going to work on the table topper. I'll be right back. We are going to do a square edge binding on the Christmas table topper, or I guess I should say winter holiday, because I'm going to leave it on the table through January, and then probably do a spring version of this. But here we go. So it's been pieced, it's been quilted, and it's ready. It's been squared up, and as far as I know, that's what I did all of that yesterday. So all that's left is the binding. The binding was cut at 45 inches long, which is the length of the fabric, the width of the fabric, and 3 inches wide, and then folded in half and pressed. So the final is 1.5 inches by 45 inches long. Now the basic idea here, if you want to make notes, is you're going to do opposite sides. So this side right here, and then all the way across to the opposite side. So you do not want to be on a corner, right, like this, and then do this next piece. That's not going to work for square edge. So we're going to do one and then the opposite. Also, your binding has to extend at least 1 inch outside of your edge, at least. I mean, if you've got extra fabric and you don't mind using it for that, you could go a little bit farther, but you just have to have it go at least 1 inch out. Now, because my project is 33 inches from edge to edge, 45 inches of binding is a little bit on the long side, and I might be able to use it if I'm careful. So I'm going to go ahead and trim it at 35, which will give me, better check on that side, yep. Okay. And that leaves me with a small little piece of fabric, but that could turn into something, so don't throw these away. All right, and then I can just measure from this side to cut the opposite side. So I'm just going to take these two So there I have my other little piece right there. Okay, these two I'll reserve for the short edges, which, if I recall, are 24. Okay, so you folded these in half, and you have raw edges matched up, like so. And then the raw edges of your project right here, and you're going to match up these raw edges with the project's raw edges. So I have the two binding strips, this side and that side, applied and pressed right there. So now we just simply turn it to the shorter side, and we'll be cutting this off. I prefer to use my scissors. I know a lot of experienced quilters will use their rotary cutter and a small, like a 6x6, 6.5, I don't know where mine is. If you are careful, you can use your rotary cutter and a ruler of some sort to trim these off. I just prefer to use my little scissors. I feel like I have a little bit more control. So we'll go ahead and take care of that. And all I'm doing is trimming it straight across with my raw edge right here. So I'm just going to hold that and carefully remove that excess. Okay, now with this fabric pressed out, like so, not flipped in but pressed out, I will take the piece of binding for right here, and I will raw edges. I'm going to extend 1 inch beyond this folded out, not folded in, but folded out. So this goes 1 inch outside of that, all the way across, and 1 inch out on the other side, also pressed out. And again, I apologize for the loud planes. Okay, so that gives me a nice long excess piece of fabric that I can use for something. Okay, and then I'm just going to use this piece to measure for the other side. Remember, this side and then all the way down there. So now that I have these pinned, I'm going to go ahead and stitch and stitch, press and press, and then I will show you what comes next once we've gotten these two binding pieces stitched on, when we flip it around to the back, and how to make that into a square edge binding. See you back here in a minute. Okay, so now we have these two. I have seen people use a rotary cutter to trim off this right here. The problem with that is you run the risk of cutting into this fold. Remember, this is folded, this little edge right here that goes down. And if you've got your rotary cutter and you accidentally nick this, then you'll have to take the whole piece of binding off and replace it. So my recommendation is to just use scissors and to cut this way as opposed to this direction. Okay, so I'm going to trim off these threads and then just get as close as I can to that fold without nicking it with my scissors and trim off the little excess piece there. What we'll be doing next is we're taking our binding, folding it over, and make sure that you start with the two sides that you applied binding to first, because that's where you're going to fold in this raw edge. So we're going to fold this in like so. And this is where I will use my clips. So if you have these, basically they prevent you from stabbing yourself with pins. Alright, so I'm going to spend some time just applying the clips. It will need to be clipped all the way around because I plan to do the stitching that needs to be done to complete this by hand. You've never seen clover clips before, this is what they look like. And there are other brands out there, but for the most part you will have almost always a clear bottom piece of plastic that is flat and a top piece that lifts up here to have enough room to clip on to the fabric. So it needs to have that little bump right there. So this goes on the bottom, and if you're stitching, obviously you wouldn't stitch through these, but the flat piece of plastic allows it to ride along the bed or the throat plate or whatever part of your sewing machine that you're on. This is what you would want on that part. And then this is the part that grabs onto the fabric. Okay. Then you can move on to the third one that you did. So we did 1 and 2 and now 3 and 4. So I'm going to remove this clip right here. I'll put it down where you guys can see. Okay. So I'm going to remove this clip and fold this over on top like so, and clip like so, and just move on across. Oops, those are the big ones. This is another version. They're quite large, and they do not have a specific flat side, so either one can be used. And they're meant to hold more fabric. They are plastic, so you really should not try to iron on them or over them because they would likely melt. There is a little metal piece in there, in case you are curious. They are magnetic, so if you drop them on the floor, oops, you can retrieve them if you have a large magnet like I do. This particular pack that I have right here, I found on Amazon. It came in a cute little tin that I will show you in just a minute. And I got all of these for less than, $5 at Joann. I don't remember how much they were at Hobby Lobby, but the fact that I did not purchase them at Hobby Lobby tells me that they were expensive. So I would recommend looking either for a coupon or some alternatives resources if you want to purchase some. And to be completely honest, I don't know the value in having 5 or even 10. I think if you're going to purchase some, you'd need enough that you could actually clip something like this or the top part of a purse, because that's where I find where I have a lot of bulk. I know I'm going to hurt myself with straight pins, and that's not fun. Okay, let me grab that little tin real quick for you. Yeah, oh, there's one left in there. So I've been using it to store my little yo-yo project in, but the clips came in this little metal tin, and I'm not kidding, I got them on Amazon. It says Happy Day, and it's absolutely adorable, and I love having it in my sewing room. Instead of plastic packaging that I would then just have to throw in the garbage, this is what these clips came in, which I find utterly wonderful. Okay, so I am going to do hand sewing to finish the project. This is the front. I don't know if you can see, but here is an edge, and here is an edge, and there is a corner. And of course I will manipulate this corner to be perfect when I come around with my needle and thread. But I think it's a wonderful size. Let me get that. Maybe you can see it a little bit. There it is. This from here to on this cutting mat, from this end to that end, is was it 33 inches? And I appear to be at 31 now that it's completed. And from this end to over here is 23 inches. So my finished completed project went from 33.24 to 31 20, what did I say? 1, 2, 3, 23. Anyway, so this will be done by hand, and once it's completed, I will show you. I doubt that's going to happen today, but I also have other projects here. So this one, this is a little needle keep, and we're going to do just a little tiny bit on this before I get busy with editing. So here's the thing with this. I'm using 2 pieces of fabric as one. I need it to be a little thicker than this muslin actually is. I don't know if I'm going to use Warm and Natural on the inside, but it's about an 80 to 90% chance that I will. So these little guys are the decorations that go across. This is a branch. These are leaves and berries. And these will be stitched on. And again, it will be a while before this is completed. But I did bring this thread in. I was unhappy with my darker thread that I was using. Ooh, so many needle holes. Okay, so we're going to take a small piece. Now these are wool, and they are honestly, I don't remember. I'm going to have to try to remember to link below where these came from. They're not Moda, but they were in a pack like Moda sells, where you get the little scraps, which I assume is at a discounted price. I don't know for sure. But anyway, it's just a little package of tweed and other types of wool that you can use for projects like this. And so forth. Okay. Now this has a really rustic feel to it. My plan is to just I'm going to kind of draw lines where I feel like leaves should be. And I know I need to leave a good amount here. Okay. In other words, I don't want to have on either end, I don't want to have leaf pieces, you know, along this edge or this edge where my seam allowance would be for attaching this into a tube. So I'm just going to draw, yeah, like just a little arrow. Is stitch the leaves on, and I'm just going to do it in a rather rough fashion. That back over there. So this is my next one that will be mailed out. The person that is going to receive this had a Palomino, and a Palomino is the color of gold. Alright, so the mane and tail will be, and forelock will be this kind of off-white, they're calling it ecru. And then the body, oh, this is kind of a gold color. There we go. There we go. Right there. Okay. So there's that. Oops. Little berries are flying. I haven't forgotten about the smocking, and I will continue with the smocking. But as I said in 2 videos ago, it may take a back seat during the remainder of December because I do have so much embroidery that I need to take care of. However, that being said, if you have any questions about the smocking and you've started a project and you need some help, just drop a comment below this video. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. It's Friday. Do something fun, be safe, be careful. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.